I'm Nikki Walker. I'm one of the directors of the Partnership Board. In addition to that, I chair the Business and Economy Implementation Group. It's one of four of the implementation group. It consists of Partnership Board members with a remit to improve the physical environment of the local community, support to business in terms of their growth, etc., and in terms of building a sustainable and a viable community. It has to be about jobs and improvement of people's economical experiences. It doesn't matter how beautiful an area is. If you're not working, if you can't pay your bills, then there is not going to be any real sustainable benefits. Business starts, business sustainability, etc.
The Land and Property Project was developed as an incentive to businesses within the SRB6 area to help refurbish, modernise, extend their properties to become more competitive. One of the things we saw in the SRB6 area was there was a lot of premises that were trading, but they weren't up to the standard that they needed to be, and there were a lot of derelict shops within the area as well as derelict sites within the SRB6 area. This was an opportunity for investors, for business people to use some funding given through the SRB6 program to enable them to put some of their own money in to expand their business and diversify.
When SRB6 did present itself, we found an opportunity to develop our store and find a reason to stay in the area. So we thought an expansion program to enlarge in the shop and to open it up, because the way our counters were always situated was there was no self-service in the shop itself, so we had to provide everything, we had to serve everybody. So we thought, develop it to a more modern store so people would want to come into the store rather than just walk past.
With the help of the grant now, I've started a trend where everyone wants to use it. They know that SRB6 is available to do shop fronts and additional security and all that. So it's helped on the road. It's brightened the road up immensely. My cellar is being more expanded now and it's bigger, so I can keep a lot more selection of things. Before I was just limited because I didn't have the room. But with the help of the grant, my cellar's doubled in size, so I can keep a lot of different stock in there now.
And yes, I have a lovely wall now by them, and I'm grateful. It improved the property and the area. And next door is happy as well.
Physically, we have had 2 extensions done to the property. We've had a full refurb. We've been rewired, centrally heated, air conditioned, shelf and storage. We've also had new shop fronts, new shop outlook in terms of our fittings within the shop floor. Because of the SRB6 funding we've had, our levels of staffing have increased from 12 to 20 over the last summer holidays. And the improvement in our physical structure here has allowed us to have better facilities, working conditions for those 20 members of staff to make sure that we could then provide the service for our customers.
We have a building that was great once and now it's just not quite fit for purpose. So this has been a real opportunity for us to refurbish a complete workshop and take a section of the building that was, if not quite crumbling, wasn't terribly useful anymore, and make an efficient working space. Quite honestly, without SRB6, we wouldn't have done it. It's been an expensive venture, and the assistance that they've been able to give us, it'll have a tremendous impact on our business. We have already set on extra people who will be working in the space that's now been provided, and we have new products coming on stream that require a far cleaner and different environment to the one we usually work in, quite honestly. It's going to lead to extra product, extra turnover, expansion, and the taking on. It's created 4 extra jobs which weren't there before, so everybody will benefit.
Through SRB6, what we've tried to do is to offer a range of flexible, tailored support to help people to move forward. So that's focused on startups, which is really about enterprise and helping individuals to work out their business idea, put together their business plan and start up a new business. But also we've worked with existing businesses to help them to develop and grow. So for example, we've offered advice for particular types of support and help to help them understand how they can make more of their business. the Quality Suite Centre, they were starting to be asked to do some different things and diversify into different markets. So what we did was we helped them with a plan to make that a reality and to make sure that they got the benefit of that. So we think that's a real success story, and they're now getting national contracts and regional contracts, and they are, for me, a beacon, an exemplar for Handsworth, of a very small business that's got big aspirations and is actually starting to fulfil some of those. We started working with a business that came into the top end at Holyhead Road, called Khazana. And Khazana is a real success story for that area, it seems to me, because they've come in new, they've built the business up. We've worked with them in terms of marketing, promotion, and also some investment in the property, and now they're thriving. They're doing really, really well, and they've been absolutely thrilled with the support we've been able to give them.
If you saw it before, I mean, you know, it's a hell of a lot of difference. Again, like with you know, the new tarmacking we put in, and again, like disabled sort of spots which we put in, which I think it makes very easy access for disabled people to come in, and they know clearly where they can park. I think like overall, like the SRB6, they've helped. Like I mean, if you look visually around Soho Road or Handsworth, like you can see the improvements happening. And I think like living here as well, it's been like it's, you know, it makes you proud that, you know, you're part of Handsworth and living in this area. Again, with all the shops and, you know, housing and schools and things like that. So I think it's a good place for us and our kids to grow up in.
I'm aware of at least 3 initiatives, one of which is on Rookery Road, where a lot of work was done in relation to ensuring that there were parking space, because one of the things that the community was saying to us, especially businesses, we just have nowhere to park.
And it's fantastic, for not just for businesses, for local parents, for local customers, for the residents within the area, for those travelling to the area and through the area. Bearing in mind we're only 2 miles away from the city centre, and probably on the largest, busiest stretch within Birmingham, which is just up the road from us, Soho Road. This is just what we needed.
We can see the shop fronts are getting a lot smarter than they were.
Great.
The roads, traffic improvements.
Well, environmentally it's looking better. You know, you can walk and you can feel its environment's good.
The health centres, improvement to that. Much improvement in terms of, you know, the pavements, because again it's an area where, due to deprivation and due to the fact that so little resources was put into this area, the streets suffered. Much has happened in those areas to improve traffic flow and people's perception, especially in terms of business owners, of which I'm one, was somewhat, you know, concerned with making sure that there were enough safeguards for businesses. So the CTV initiative is one of the areas that I think that was really welcomed in the area.
It's upgraded all the shops. Soho Road has actually modernised quite a bit over the past 2 years with the help of SRB6. We've seen a larger crowd coming from all over the UK. Been able to get customers as far as North Scotland, all over the country. The festive period have a lighting scheme where all the local areas were, you know, had grant support in terms of the lighting, celebratory lighting in their communities. One of the things that we were always concerned about on the board was the extent to which organisations such as banks were leaving the area. Again, we've seen a huge bank now that has been brought into the community. That is going very well. The new credit union building is also on Villa Road, and that is operating very well. I think one of the successes of the programme is its ability to attract people from outside the area who would normally not want to come into the SRB6 area to shop. So yes, that has happened and we are pleased with that.
The area investment plans are our initiative which grew out of work within the SRB6 programme.
There was near enough £250,000 given through the Land and Property project to Acme Port Loop. It was about reclamation and remediation on the site.
The area investment plan, we see this as very much a legacy and a forward strategy for the SRB6 programme. It's a tool whereby we're going to promote the area to investors and highlight the sites that are available to them.
The Astra site, we've had this land or this site that was derelict for several years now with a skills centre on it. One of the things that didn't attract it to investors was this big steel building sitting on site. So what we did was to knock down that site, remediate it, reclaim it, and then therefore it became a site that was easily marketed and created a lot more opportunity within the area. A couple of the projects that were funded through the Land and Property project were the Black Cat Calf. There was a feasibility study funded through there looking at options for development on that site, because one of the opportunities the area investment plan provides is information and support to kind of tap into the local labour market within the northwest area and also within the rest of Birmingham.